When he withdrew from the scene of his painful recollections, they both accompanied him downstairs, reiterating their hope that he would come again whenever he pleased, and assuring him that their poor dwelling would ever be open to him. As Edmond passed the door on the 4th floor, he paused to inquire whether Caderousse the tailor still dwelt there, but received for reply that the person in question had got into difficulties, and at the present time kept a small inn on the route from Belgrade to Beaucaire. Having obtained the address of the person to whom the house in the Allée de Meilhan belonged, Dantès next proceeded thither, and, under the name of Lord Wilmore, the name and title inscribed on his passport, purchased the small dwelling for the sum of 25,000 francs, at least 10,000 more than it was worth, but had its owner asked 500,000, it would unhesitatingly have been given. The very same day, the occupants of the apartments on the 5th floor of the house, now become the property of Dantès, were duly informed by the notary who had arranged the necessary transfer of the deeds, etc., that the new landlord gave them the choice of any rooms in the house, without the least augmentation of rent, upon the condition of their giving instant possession of the 2 small chambers they at present inhabited. This strange event aroused great wonder and curiosity in the neighborhood of the Allée de Meilhan, and a multitude of theories were afloat, none of which was anywhere near the truth. But what raised public astonishment to a climax, and set all conjecture at defiance, was the knowledge that the same stranger who had in the morning visited the Allée de Meilhan had been seen in the evening walking in the little village of the Catalans, and afterwards observed to enter a poor fisherman's hut, and to pass more than an hour in inquiring after persons who had either been dead or gone away for more than 15 or 16 years. But on the following day the family from whom all these particulars had been asked received a handsome present, consisting of an entirely new fishing boat, with 2 seines and a tender. The delighted recipients of these munificent gifts would gladly have poured out their thanks to their generous benefactor, but they had seen him, upon quitting the hut, merely give some orders to a sailor, and then springing lightly on horseback, leave Marseilles by the port docks. Okay, what an elliptical note to kind of end this chapter on. Dantès using his wealth to acquire property, sentimentally, he buys the building, essentially, and then offers the inhabitants of his father's apartment any other place in the building as long as they vacate his childhood home. Also, Dantès, for how careful he's been and all the disguises he's assuming, seems like he's put himself a little bit at a risk of asking around for every person that was connected to his old life and visiting all of the places that, like, if there was one person left in this area that knew Dantès, could put things together pretty quickly, I feel like. Oh yeah, there's a weird guy that has emerged out of nowhere, and he's asking about Caderousse and, Daddy Dantès, and he's in the Catalans, where Dantès used to date someone, and, oh yeah, that's strange that this stranger's doing all those things that one guy, Dantès, used to be associated with. Is Dantès getting a little careless here? Is he letting emotion cloud his judgment over what he should or should not be doing? Maybe that's what's to come in the next couple chapters. But let's just turn our eyes real quick to this passport that he showed when he entered Marseille to the gendarme, and basically gave him free rein to enter the port and do what he wants. And I want to take a moment to actually break down this passport for a second. This is the first time we actually get a name, an alias, to go along with Dantès' stories. Remember, we questioned when he was on board La Jeune Amélie whether or not he gave a name, his name. People just called him the Maltese. They didn't actually ever speak his name, to my recollections. So here, Lord Wilmore, and then the parenthetical next to it, the name and title inscribed on his passport, is the first time he's assuming an actual identity, and an English one, for that matter. Now, I had to stop for a moment and go, did my brain go into a fugue state and we missed how he acquired this passport? And upon going through some of the back catalog here, I was like, no, okay, this passport is just a statement of fact. It just appears. And I had the questions of, well, how does this identity come to be? This official document. Is he assuming the identity of a real Lord Wilmore from somewhere? Or is this completely fabricated? We don't see it being created. And I think it's intentional. I mean, clearly it is. Not only, as we keep talking about, does Dumas have to worry about the pacing of his story. We can't go down every little tiny tangent here, but I think it's also intentional in developing the sort of mystique around Dante's new personality and what wealth can afford him. So by just showing that he has this kind of corrupt document, this false document, he has something that I keep forgetting. Basically, spent a year as a free man at this point. I've kind of lost track of the passage of time, and that in that time, not only has he found the treasure and carried it away, but like he has been in Leghorn, he has been going to merchants, he's been selling his jewels and getting money in this kind of economy, shadow economy that can expose him to the types of people and places where he could get a false document. Like, remember when he bought the boat, he bought it right out from underneath. I think that's maybe where my confusion came in. He bought it from underneath the nose of another Englishman who was, vacationing in Switzerland, and the Genoese who was building the boat was like, "Oh yeah, cool. You're paying me a lot of money, and I'll just build him another one before he gets here." And I was like, "Oh, is he taking the identity of that guy?" But I don't think so. I mean, I guess we don't have confirmation one way or the other, but almost certainly this is an invented identity, and that I think we just have to take belief and logic that Dante is crafty enough, smart enough, and has enough wealth and access that he could acquire such a thing. I mean, there's that line we pulled out earlier this chapter that, he now had the wealth to acquire any disguise that he wanted. And I think that's probably what is the blanket statement covering this moment. But what do we take of the name Lord Wilmore? I mean, I don't want to put too much emphasis on this because it is just kind of a passing thing here, but this is now a new name that we can call Dante. We from here forward, assuming that Lord Wilmore is a statement that is a character that he will continue to play, and I guess I don't know that that's true, but we will have to do the work of breaking down the character that Dante is creating in Lord Wilmore versus the character that Dumas is creating of Dante as Lord Wilmore and as Edmond Dante. It's kind of a fractured personality. So it'll be interesting to me to see, like, we almost get to witness Dante act as a surrogate for Dumas. As Dumas is creating his character, we get to see Dante creating his character, and in a way, we get to see Dumas creating a character that creates a character. It's potentially a little meta. Lord Wilmore. Is there anything to be said about the choice of name, Wilmore? Dante is asserting his will more than he had as a youngster. I don't know. Maybe that's one of those things that I'm sure there's plenty of analysis surrounding. And at the end of the day, it could be, it could not be. And whatever meaning you give to it, you're bringing to the table, and it's kind of irrelevant what Dumas meant by it. Anyway, let's wrap up chapter 25. That's it, folks. We did it. So I just want to end by saying thank you all again for being here through yet another chapter. We are 25 chapters in now. Holy shit. We've come such a long way. It's only been 10 months, and it actually, it's probably been a little over 10 months now. And whoa, man, it's felt longer. It has felt longer. So even though I am recording this alone in my podcast studio, knowing you are out there listening every day is a gift to me that I can't thank you enough for. So if you have it in your heart to continue to support the show, you can do so over at patreon.com/gruntworkpod, which is the podcast network for the Countdown of Monte Cristo, along with all of our other shows, but you can choose to contribute just to this show if you want to. For as little as $1 per month with no long-term commitments, you could donate $1. That's 3 cents per episode for 1 month only, then cancel, and say you contributed. But what you get for that is at the end of every chapter, so as of today, you get the story-only audio of the full chapter without my commentary as kind of an audiobook, and you get access to literally every single chapter we've done so far, so you can listen through 1 to 25 anytime you want. You get access to a podcast feed when you sign up so that you can listen to it in your podcatcher of choice. But more importantly to me, you get the peace of mind knowing that this show continues to be ad-free, which I love and kind of am dedicated to because I get so saturated and sick of ads. Artist-owned, so there's no one but me and you telling us how this show is going to shape up, and help us to see our way through to the 4-year mission statement that we have set out for ourselves. There's a little bit of overhead to keep the show running, so your contributions go a long way to helping mitigate that, and I deeply appreciate it. Of course, you can leave a rating or review over at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. Subscribe to those places because it helps to mess with the algorithm and get it in front of new people. But of course, you can do that more directly by recommending the show to someone specifically. Send them an episode, send them the podcast feed, and tell them they might enjoy the show, because it's a much more effective way to getting someone to actually listen. And then, of course, as always, I would love to hear from you in the Discord. You can sign up for free. The link is in the show notes. It's in the show notes of every episode. So if something catches your ear at some point and you're like, oh, I got a comment on that, jump in the Discord. It's absolutely free to anyone who listens. And with that, let's just start right here again tomorrow with Chapter 26 to see where we go from here. Okay, until then, thank you all so much for being here. For Alexandre Dumas, I've been Landon Solano. Until tomorrow, okay, goodbye. The Countdown of Monte Cristo is part of the Gruntwork Podcast Network. This show is produced, edited, and hosted by Landon Solano. The original text of The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexandre Dumas. Theme song by Magic Solo. If you want to support the show and others like it, visit patreon.com/gruntworkpod. Thank you for listening. See you tomorrow.